Hello guys, and if you, just like me, were trying to find an explanation for this hurry with which Ukraine was pressured to sign some agreement with Russia, and that agreement literally appeared out of nowhere with no preliminary talks, then we may find that explanation in the recent Kremlin fiscal reports. At the end of the financial year, you have to speak about your income and expenses. And no matter how hard the Kremlin tried to hide this truth, not just from us, foreign observers, intelligence services, but even from their own population, they had to speak. And the reality is so bad that they literally cannot hide these numbers. They lack 6 trillion rubles in their federal budget. And the Minister of Finance of the Russian Federation openly said that their income in the sphere of oil and gas fell 20%, which means way more. But they now speak about that openly on Russia's state TV. These financial reports expose whole industries destroyed by this war inside Russia, but most importantly, they show more and more regions suspend payments to the Russian war criminals, the Russian soldiers, because they have no money left. No matter how hard Putin tried to push resources into his war machine, now he has no money to pay the Russian army. That may be the reason why Witkov and Dmitriev tried to develop this rescue plan and the so-called peace proposal, which was actually a capitulation plan. So, of course, no one will accept that in Ukraine, once again, especially knowing what's happening inside the Russian economy, their budget, and lots of spheres of their life. So let's discuss what were the Kremlin trying to hide from us and how it actually exposes their inability to continue this war the way Putin wants. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Putin in The Hague, subscribe. I'm sure we will speak about that on the channel sometime really soon, and please share these videos to spread the truth and to spread the good news. So, you know that in Russia it's a tradition to lie about the problems they have. But at a set moment of time, when you have that many economic problems, you have to start mentioning them. And that's exactly what we observe on the Russian state TV at the end of 2025. Their financial ministers, deputy ministers speak about the growth of military expenses and constantly falling income. They officially stated minus 20% in oil and gas revenue, and we all remember that Russia is a fully dependent on the export of these resources country. They do not produce any technology, any services, any mobile phones or computers that you want to buy. So 20% of a decrease in the spheres of energy, oil and gas means a lot. Plus, once again, if they are saying 20 on Russian TV, we can multiply that perhaps at least by 2. So altogether, they have approximately 5.7, which is almost 6 trillion rubles lack in the federal budget. That is huge, and that is the greatest gap, the greatest hole, the greatest problem since the collapse of the USSR. Leading to that point similar to the collapse of the USSR. So what's interesting, this greatly influences the course of the war. It's obvious that Putin and his oligarchs at the beginning of the full-scale invasion hoped it would bring them more money, more resources, more access to Ukrainian energy infrastructure, but in the result, they destroyed their own oil, gas industries, construction industry, retail industry, lots of shops closing in Moscow. And now they have no money to pay the soldiers. And these war criminals that they name soldiers are in the Russian army only for the sake of money. Forget about ideology. What kind of ideology? We clearly see these are looters and people who earn money maybe for the first time in their life. Putin is afraid of the soldiers. He doesn't want them to return back to Russia and, to start looting or demanding money there. But he doesn't have money to pay them. And that's why more regional councils in Yakutia, in various Far East regions, say they are suspending payments to the so-called Russian soldiers. Can you imagine what problems this can cause? What protest this can, inspire, if that's the right word to say. And that is another reason to keep supporting Ukraine and to help us implement more drone sanctions to destroy their military infrastructure and thus make this world a safer place, because they have already brought too many problems to good people in different parts of the world, not just in Ukraine. And here again, I want to use this opportunity, our tremendous community, to attract your attention to a fundraiser that the United 24 set for the support of Ukrainians who suffered in this war and their eyesight was damaged by Russia's attacks, by all the evil that they do to us. And this modern war leads to various kinds of debris, not just metallic one, which needs a very different approach in eye operations. And following the link that I will pin in the comments below, you may read more about the fundraiser, but it has a very beautiful mission to return eyesight to those who lost it because of many Russian crimes that they commit, and they unfortunately keep committing here. So do support it. Christmas time is coming. That's the moment to do something good. And of course, the moment to keep fighting against the evil. And this evil actually does not know how to save itself well, because the solutions that they offer to cover this hole in their budget, to try, reconstruct the refineries or save the aviation, totally destroyed sphere inside Russia. They offer higher taxes, increased VAT, more businesses have to pay it, which means, no, that's not the solution. It always fails to save the situation and does just the country, destroys more businesses, and more people lose jobs, more people lose income. The situation is so miserable that they actually plan to have specific fees, not just like on cars, like ecology fee, it's present in many countries and here too, but they want to have special fees on the usage of laptops and various like home appliances. That is one more thing that proves those invaders at the very beginning of the full-scale war were totally devastating. Witnessing the level of life in Ukraine, an ordinary middle class in Ukraine, was something they could never be. And instead of trying to save their own country, trying to take control over their own country, to destroy this, corruption inside Russia, they keep destroying Ukrainian kitchens because they look too good for them. But what's interesting, similar measures were used at the beginning of 2025. They did increase lots of taxes, hoping this would cover the gap in the budget. But here again, we speak about 6 trillion rubles. And those of you who follow the updates remember that trillion is a new very popular term to speak about the Russian economy, because they keep printing money, they keep printing bonds. They think the world won't notice that, but even Russians, partially under the influence of the Russian propaganda, still understand the situation is very bad and keep withdrawing their deposits from the Russian banking system, thus amassing problems. And it's all like running in circles. because they want to increase taxes to get more money into the budget, but this will destroy businesses and lead to less money into the budget. Russians withdraw their money from the banks. The banks collapse because of the bad economic management, exhausting war, but also because of this panic behavior of Russians. Everything just as Strelkov Girkin, the author of the annexation of Crimea and one of Putin's great officers, now jailed for speaking the truth, predicted. Do watch this video on Anna Danilchuk channel and support us there. Subscribe, join the community on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord. The links in the description, same as the link to the merch shop with lots of beautiful seasonal presents that will turn you and your loved ones into the ambassadors of Ukraine. And we need that because the Kremlin still wants to deceive us, still wants to push us and make us do stupid things. No, united we stand, and united we are stronger, smarter, and united we will witness the collapse of the Kremlin. So join the community, share these videos, give your ideas and advice. I always read the comments, and thank you for being my friends and friends of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!